Oh my god, this is gonna be so fucked.
Okay, guys. So right off the bat, just gonna warn you, we go off on some tangents in this review. We just got out of the movie. We were really excited, and we were just going off. And also, again, just to warn you, I drop a lot of F-bombs. Like I said, I was super excited, and I just had diarrhea of the mouth. So please be aware of that. Okay, back to the review.
It's already a disaster.
Okay, well, Comic Book Bob, I'm here with my friend Holly, and Tom.
Spooky Tom in the back.
Because his setup sucks and we don't have shit for light.
He'll be telling the ghost stories for the
evening. Anyway, we just got done watching John Wick 3 Parabellum, which I still think it should have been John Wick 3 Excommunicado. I think that would have been a better title.
Well, they gave you the definition of Parabellum in the movie.
Yeah, so. I know. Stupid anyway. But yeah, it was pretty freaking cool. Yep. It's typical John Wick. And
my first John Wick movie, so
this dumbass hasn't even seen 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Which it's interesting. I'm gonna pick your brain on this because I want to know what you thought about this movie, considering that this is your first one. Mm-hmm. But it was exactly what I was expecting. It didn't have a whole lot of swerves that I was like, oh my god, I can't believe they did that. It pretty much went exactly the way I thought it was going to. But the stuff that they did introduce, it took the story, because like we were talking about earlier, the first movie was meant to stand on its own. It was meant to be its own thing. And then it got ridiculous popular.
Insanely popular.
And they were like, well, let's just milk this shit for everything we can get. And Keanu Reeves was like, yeah, dude.
And the second one then took it to what I thought was kind of an extreme length, where suddenly, half the population is assassins. But going into this movie, I expected, okay, that's the world we're living in now. I'm fine with that, as long as it has great action.
These people have their fingers in everything.
Exactly.
And they're everywhere, that you can't avoid them, you can't escape it.
Yep.
Which, that was actually really cool, how in the beginning of this movie, it was like, they know where this motherfucker is. At no point did they not know where John Wick is. It's like, yeah, he's there. Go kill him.
Exactly.
And the first, they don't even have a break in the action until, 30 minutes in?
Right, like it's nonstop right out of the gate.
Yeah, like it's everybody trying to kill him in New York City for the first at least 20-25 minutes.
Like, they give you about 2 minutes at the beginning where you see him running, and then soon as he's in the library, shit just starts going immediately.
Well, even when he's running, they're like stalking him. They're like, okay, we're just waiting for the timer to run out, and then you're done. Which, that guy, the big dude at the end.
Yes.
What other movie have it? I know. Fish. He was in Big Fish.
He was the giant in Big
You know what
Fish.
he was also in? He was also the big giant dude that was in the second Sherlock Holmes film. Remember the big guy he fights on the dock, and he throws the hammer at him, and it bounces off his chest?
I don't remember that. I'll have to take your word for it. I'll have to go back and look at it. As soon as I saw the guy, I was like, oh my god, that's the guy from Big Fish. That was the only thing that came to my head.
He's the guy, when you see him, you'll know exactly what it is. He's the dude that, when you need a big dude that doesn't look all weird and slow, it's that guy.
Yeah.
And that was a really cool fight scene, too.
Yes. I was telling him, while you were in the bathroom, I was telling him, like, the library fight of all the fights, each one has elements that are really cool, but the library fight was my favorite one, because that's the one where he's just chucking knives at everybody.
Yeah, actually, the library fight, and then it goes into the museum fight, because I think that's a museum.
That's where
because they basically, it starts with that one, and it just keeps going.
Yeah, it just keeps going.
And actually, I'll be honest with you, the final fight between him and Mark Dacascos, I actually didn't like that. I thought it was kind of like, oh, okay. I mean, don't get me wrong, it was still like, that's putting on some awesome moves.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I just felt like, compared to the other fights, it was just kind of like straightforward. Which maybe that was the idea behind it.
Well, and the final fight contains something that I both simultaneously liked and didn't like, which is when the main hero badass gets away or barely escapes death due to something incredibly convenient, But at the same time, I liked the fact that these two guys were such fanboys that they actually didn't kill him. They were just like,
that's the other thing too.
Nice fight.
If you're a fan of martial arts films, those two guys are two of the characters from the Raid movies.
Yes, I recognize them.
As soon as I saw them, I was like, "Holy shit! They got the Raid guys. That's freaking awesome!" And in real life, honestly, God, in real life, those guys would kick the living shit out of Keanu Reeves.
But at the was that moment where I was like, okay, that's kind of cool, where they stop in the middle and be like, it's an honor fighting with you.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if they hadn't done that, they could have killed him.
It would have been cool. And actually, there's 2 times that they did this. They took it too far, because if they had stopped it just the first time while he was like actually holding them, and they're like, "It's an honor, sir," and like if that had just been it, that would have been awesome. But they did it twice.
Right, and they full on they had
they did it 3 times. Now that I think about it, where they had him dead and they just went, "No, come on."
Exactly. Come on. Exactly. That was the part that I'm like, oh.
If it had just been the part where they were like, "It's an honor, sir," like that would have been cool, because that was happening. That's something that's happened all the way through the series, where everyone's like, "Holy shit, we're fighting John Wick." This is this is simultaneously awesome and scary as hell. But yeah, and the fight between those two guys was really cool, because even though Keanu Reeves uses more of the jiu-jitsu, which is because he actually studied, by the way, if you know anything about MMA or anything, he actually trained with the Machado brothers to get ready for this movie. And there's videos online you can see, which is freaking awesome, by the way. And then there's a new video with what's her name, Halle Berry, where she's doing the same the ballistic training, which was really cool. But the way that those guys fight from the Raid, it's a really fast, really kinetic kind of fighting, which is very different from the grappling style that he uses in the other movies. So the fact that they were able to he was still doing his thing, but they were still able to do their thing was really cool. Whoever does the fight choreography in these movies is freaking awesome. Yes. But I didn't like that. And then the thing with the horses. That was like, I was like, okay, when it happened the first time, I was like, okay, but then it happened again, where the horse kicked the horse kicked the thing, and I'm like, I'm like, okay, look, you just did that, don't do that again, because now it's not cool, now it's not special. Now it's like, oh, you're doing it again. You're just going to beat this into the ground.
For anybody, for the 3 people out there who are going to wind up seeing this, that jumble of
the last one of these I did, I had like 40 people look at it, so fuck you.
But what he's talking about is there's a scene in the movie where they go into the horse stables in New York, where people take carriage rides and stuff. And he taps the horse on the side, which causes the horse to back kick its legs, which hits the guys he's fighting with.
Well, yeah.
And doing that once you'd have a moment of, okay, that was kind of ridiculous, but I'll go with it. But they do it several times over the course of that fight. And so at a certain point, you're like, okay.
It's the syndrome thing from Incredibles. When everybody's super, nobody is. When you do something more than once, if you do it over and over again, it's not cool anymore. So
although the buffest guy in the whole movie, I have to say, is the guy that was kicked 3 times by a horse, because you don't get up after getting kicked once in the face by a horse.
Well, there's a lot of, that's this franchise. There's a lot of things that happen that nobody should actually be able to get up from.
Yeah.
I mean, Keanu Reeves at one point is hit by a car twice in a row.
Yeah, which has happened in multiple movies.
Yeah, that happened in the last one too.
See, that's the thing too. In the first movie, and why they had to alter things in the second and the third movie, where it was like he went to that doctor and he was giving him all these drugs and stuff to just shrug it off. In the first movie, when he got hit by a fucking car, it was like he got hit. He's like rolling, and he's like crawling, and he's like, ugh. And this one, he gets hit by a car twice, and he gets back up, and he's like, I'm gonna kill all you motherfuckers. So,
and I mean, technically, I shouldn't even bring this up, because at this point, it's all movies, it's all television. Glass is treated like tissue paper. Yeah. Glass has no effect on anyone in television or movies at all anymore. And there's a scene where he's slammed into 5 glass panels and glass display cases.
5?
More than that.
More like 10 or 15.
One after another, and of course it never cuts or bothers anybody.
And they break through a glass floor.
Yes.
Well, not only just a glass floor, a pretty much like a reinforced glass floor, because remember they were shooting that shit, and the only reason he busted through the floor is because it was already messed up.
Right.
So it's like, this is the kind of glass that like if you hit it, if you fall and hit it, your head's gonna get like plastered. You know, your head's gonna just split open and get caved in.
But that's the kind of thing, like, you can't really hold it against these movies or this franchise, because in action movies in general, all of the main characters are basically low-level superheroes, where things that should injure you or kill you don't permanently injure or kill the heroes of action movies.
This movie basically has gone into, like, remember I made the joke about Fast and the Furious.
Didn't this used to be about cars?
Yeah, I was like, the Hobbs and Shaw movie. I was like, didn't this used to be about street racing? And now it's like, the dude's like, he's literally Black Superman, which, by the way, in that trailer, he fucking is, man. Holy shit.
But, yeah, you beat me to it by like half a second, because as soon as that trailer ended, I was about to say, didn't this used to be about racing?
Yeah, I was like, didn't this used to be about cars going at warp speed? Because I remember when, tangent, because we do this, in the big complaint about the Fast and Furious franchise is when they would hit the nitrous, and it looked like the car with the warp speed.
Ludicrous speed.
Yeah, like, isn't this didn't this used to be a franchise about streetcars that went to warp speed? But anyway, but that's what's going on with the John Wick movies now. It's like, there's no way anybody could survive that shit. Yeah. Even with like body armor and stuff.
Exactly. But I don't hold that against the franchise or these movies, because all action movies are like that now.
All I wanted from this movie was a shitload of martial arts and gun fu.
Yes.
And that's exactly what we got. We got a shitload of martial arts and gun fu.
Yes.
And this movie does gun fu better than any movie ever.
Well, I was gonna make the point, and I'm glad, since we're doing it, I'll bring it up here. This franchise in particular, and yes, it's a combination of other franchises like Raid and Kingsman have contributed, but this franchise and the popularity of the first John Wick movie have raised the bar on action scenes and quality of action scenes so much that you really can't get away with doing it badly or even mediocre anymore.
No.
Without people being disappointed, like, oh, that sucked. Like, everything is compared to John Wick or Kingsman or Raid quality now.
Or the Marvel Cinematic Universe, because if you look at, I think this movie actually changed those movies. Yes. Because if you look at the first couple of those movies, the fights, the way they fought and stuff was more like it was typical Hollywood and everything. But then after these movies came out, you started, like, especially like the fight scenes in Captain America Winter Soldier. Yep. That shit went to 11, man. Yep. And I think it was because of this movie. It was like, okay, we can't just do people punching like, no, it's got to be like crazy, over the top stuff
and slick. And that's again another reason to go back and watch the first one. Just that first one, when that first one came out, everybody was talking about like how amazing the fight choreography was and how amazing it was shot, the cinematography. And after that first one became so popular, so went on to be so successful, everybody had to up their game afterward for their action. Like, you can't get away with doing it badly anymore. You just can't.
Well, like, if you do it, it's like it's the same thing that happened with Star Wars, with the way they did the lightsaber battles in the new movies. When the new trilogy, the new sequels started, everyone's like, why are they fighting like they're like that? Why where's the awesome lightsaber fighting and everything? So that affected the way that affected that. This movie the John Wick series has affected all action films going forward. Yes. And honestly, I don't know what they're going to do to go over top of that, because at this point, it's like you said, they're borderline superheroes now. Yeah, exactly. So, but anyway, getting back to the movie,
it's like, what were we talking about? Oh yeah,
we do tangents. That's what we do around here. This, like I said, this was exactly what I was expecting. I don't want to give too much of the movie away, because this is just in the first reactions. We'll talk more about it tomorrow. But I got everything out of this movie I expected. I got Keanu Reeves being John Wick. I got Ian McShane being cool as hell in this movie. His character has an even bigger part, this one. And
who's the guy who plays the concierge?
Lance. Lance. I can't remember his last name. It's Lance something. He's freaking awesome. I love that dude.
We can't think of his name right now. We could look it up on our phone, but
If they weren't our lighting sources.
The guy, yeah.
Well, I can't use my phone because it's right there.
We weren't using them for lighting. The guy who plays the concierge in these movies, he has a bigger part in this movie too, and he's awesome.
Yeah,
in it as
and
well.
and Mark Dacascos' character, I thought he was going to just be like, you know, your typical stoic, I'm going to kill you because I want to be the best, and it's like he's like a total fanboy through the whole movie. He's like, John, it's so awesome. It's and here's the thing about Mark Dacascos that a lot of people don't realize. He's got a really good sense of humor. Mm-hmm. If you've ever seen him in any of the other, like, unfortunately, he does a lot of B-movie stuff. But in other movies where he was like at least a decent main character, he's got a pretty good sense of humor, and he's really funny in this movie. The way he acts is like he acts like a cold-blooded killer who's just met his idol.
Yep.
Which is
it's
exactly who he is too. And and like we were talking about, I don't know the lady's name. We got to find out what her name. But the one who plays the adjudicator,
yeah,
that bitch needs to die.
Yes, I was like, from her first scene, I'm like, oh, I hope somebody kills her. They have done a good job, and I really hope that they use her because Keanu Reeves, like I said, Keanu Reeves said he'll do these movies as long as people want to see him, and they've definitely set this up for like maybe even a whole nother trilogy. Mm-hmm. But they have made a really good villain in her. Like, if they keep using her, they need to use her more going forward, because I really want to see her die in a really awesome way. I hope, if they use her more going forward, I hope that she doesn't last past the next one, because I don't want, I want her to die in the next one.
Well, if they do another one, she's just a villain. I think is really that they could do some really cool stuff with, because like, to me, if they do her right, they could take her to like Prince Joffrey levels of we want this bitch to die, because everybody remembers the first couple of seasons of Game of Thrones, everybody wanted that asshole to die. Everybody's like, oh my god, when you get somebody that does a villain that well, that's pretty freaking awesome, man.
I don't know. I mean, for me, it was just little things. It wasn't so much what she was saying or doing. It was like her attitude. Like her posturing and the way she would.
She looked down on everybody.
Yeah, exactly. It was the movement she made that just like she had this air of like, I am the queen of the world kind of thing. And it bothered me to the point where I'm like, I really hope somebody fucking kills you.
I thought, like I said, by the way, there's this really cool pen, like a silver metal pen pencil thing she has. I totally thought they were going to do like, you want to see the pencil trick? Because remember, like the whole thing was like, John Wick killed 4 people with that pencil.
Well, that's a reason to see the second one, because he does that in the second one.
And I'm totally like, because the way they were focusing on it, I'm like, he's going to kill her with that freaking pencil.
Yeah. So there was a bit of misdirection. You expected that to happen, but it didn't.
And the cool thing again, like, was Ian McShane playing off of her. Mm-hmm. He like his character's just like. This character was a really good example of how a power player acts and and the way they think, because there is some swerve that goes on in the movie that you're not quite expecting, and it comes from him, and the dude just gets better and better every time I see him in something, man. Because have you watched American Gods?
Have I seen it? No.
Yeah, he's freaking awesome in that, and he's freaking awesome in this, and he's going to be in Deadwood. The Deadwood movie. But yeah, and like I said, Halle Berry's character in this was really cool. I thought that, I was worried that it was going to be, oh geez, they're going to make her the female John Wick or something, and she's not. She's I mean, don't get me wrong, she's a badass, just like Common's character was a badass in the second movie, but she's very much her own character, and they lay the groundwork to do more cool stuff with her later. She has
these 2 dogs which are absolutely awesome. They're like extensions of her, and like weapons that she sends after everybody. And I thought the scenes that they choreograph fight scenes that incorporate the 2 dogs very well.
Yeah.
So that was an element that I really liked.
If you're a guy, this movie's gonna make you real uncomfortable with them dogs. There's a whole lot of sick and balls.
They go after a lot of crotches. Those dogs.
Yeah, Schwanz. Heinz Schwanz. Which was one of the only good things that happened in that piece of shit movie, by the way. Was that Kick-Ass 2?
Yeah.
Anyway, but no, and like I said, they definitely set this up so that they're building the way that the storyline goes down. They're building up. Well, I think the intention now there's because like I said, like they realize these movies are going to do really well, and he said he'll do them as long as people want to see them. They're building up for a big fight between the power players. This movie's being set up so that all the people who have basically been screwed by the table, which are the people that control everything, they're all starting to come together. They're all starting to be like, all right, you know what? We're done with this shit. And the way this movie ends with him and Lawrence Fishburne was awesome. A little bit of spoiler, by the way. Sorry about that, but anyway. You're not going to watch this movie for story. You're going to watch this movie for guns and shit.
Yeah. I mean, it's 20 minutes in. If you want a brief rundown without spoiling the end, basically, it begins where the second movie left off, where he's running away, and he's got an hour, and before he goes excommunicado.
Yeah, and actually the movie starts with the last 20 minutes.
Yeah, we see him just in the last 20 minutes of that hour, and he goes running to the doctor who was the Hotel Continental doctor. He goes running to him for help to get treatment for an injury, and while he's there with the doctor, his time runs out, and as soon as his time runs out, everybody's after him. And so he's trying to go to people like Angelica Houston's character who owe him a favor, people who might be a little bit sympathetic to him, or even if they're not, they at least owe him something.
Yeah, it's actually kind of a callback to the whole thing that starts the second movie, where this dude comes with that guy came with that thing and says, like, I have your marker, you have to do this. Right. He kind of pulls the same thing. Yep. And he's like, he gets all these things together that he needs, like these indicators of what people owe him. So that's kind of an interesting little thing that they do, is like the same thing that this guy did to him in the first movie, he does that to these people. Yep. And so
desperate times
calls for desperate measures. Although he doesn't do what that guy did to him. He doesn't put them in a position where he wants, when he's like, I don't care what happens to you, you're going to give me what I want. He's just like, look, I just need this, and that's it.
It really makes me feel bad, because like you said, the first one was its own self-contained entity, and the second one begins with that guy giving him his marker, saying, hey, I need you to do this for me. All the guy John Wick just wanted out, man. Once he did his shit in the first one, he was done.
Yeah. And it wasn't even that the shit he did in the first one. It was like, that was just purely on revenge. Like, the fucker tried to kill him.
Right. And once his revenge was done, he was ready to sit down. Like, let the guy get some sleep. How long has it been since this guy has actually eaten anything or slept?
Well, he drank something in this one, because remember
spit water.
Well, no, the tea that the guy laid out for him, because he woke up. Well, he does get rest. He gets knocked out a lot. He goes unconscious about 4 or 5 times a movie.
But I'm like, if that one guy at the beginning of the second movie hadn't shown up with his marker, he could have just been like, okay, time, that's it, I'm done. Well, I got my revenge, it's over. But no, now it's like it's this ongoing thing where he can't get away from it now.
Well, that's even like what the
this franchise is too popular. You're not allowed out.
Ian McShane's. This franchise is too popular. You got to make more movies and shit. Even Ian McShane's character even tells that guy, he's like, John came back for love. You know, he didn't come back to be what he was. He came back for love, and that was it. It's like, you're the one who's pushed this to the point that it's at. But no, if you were a fan of the first 2 movies, you're gonna love this movie. This movie was awesome. And like I said, it does set up some stuff for the future. We kind of differ on the situation at the end. I think it was completely planned.
Oh no, I'm up in the air about that. Like, it seems there's a part at the end where it seems like somebody has maybe betrayed him, sort of. Yeah. But at the same time, I was thinking, like, is this really what it seems to be, or is he actually on his side still? It remains to be seen. It depends on where they take it.
Yeah, because the person's reaction to me was, he was like, oh, he's alive? Oh, wow, what a surprise. Yeah. It's like, oh, okay.
How far could he get?
Yeah, he's like, oh, okay. Yeah, well, so we'll deal with it.
There's elements to suggest that it's not the betrayal that it seems to be on its surface. Yeah. But until the next movie, we won't know for sure where that's going to go.
But yeah, so they expound on the, so to wrap it up, they expound on the things in the second movie. They do a good job of doing that. They introduce the new characters well. The characters that they introduced in the second movie that are in this one, they expand on them really cool. Lawrence Fishburne's and Ian McShane's characters especially.
Yep.
And yeah, bring on chapter 4, man.
Yeah, bottom line, if you're coming for the cool action scenes, that's exactly what you're going to get.
Yep.
That's exactly what you're going to get. And if you didn't mind how they kind of took it to an over-the-top level in the second one, then you'll be perfectly fine with this, because it's the same over-the-topness.
Yeah.
It's just over top.
Yeah, like we said, it's people don't react to injury or pain the way most people would. That's just the nature of action movies now.
Literally are
Superheroes.
Yeah, they're
low grade superheroes.
Low grade superheroes, where they just don't get hurt the way normal people would.
Everybody's John Wayne. It's like, bam, go on without me. It's like reality be like, oh God, I've been shot. But
Think about the things that hurt the most. How many times does John Wick get burned or branded in this movie, and he just walks it off like it's nothing?
Like the bullets, I understand that. Well, the bullets you can explain a little bit away because they he's got that Kevlar and Predator.
Yeah.
Clothes. But the stabbings, the knife wounds. I'm like,
Yep.
do you know what happens when I've been stabbed. Do you know what happens?
Yep.
Like, it cuts everything.
And if you don't get it stitched properly, it rips open more. Like you.
Oh my God! Like the one he gets in his shoulder.
Right.
I'm going, dude, you're gonna die if you don't if that's not taken care of immediately.
Well, that's the one he got treated by the doctor.
Well, not only that was and even when it's treated, you ain't using that freaking arm forever.
But again, that's normal people.
But again, this is more of the these guys are low grade superheroes.
Somebody grabs your arm, twist it, and
jeez,
snap,
dude, when
twist it the other way, it goes snap.
Like I said,
and then you pick up a knife with that arm and try. No.
Like I said, I've been stabbed, and when that dude, because it was the shape of the knife too, because it was like a really thin blade.
Yeah.
When he goes, I just went, oh God! I'm like, oh jeez. Oh my God, and the eye thing. Ooh.
Yeah, that was a scene where
that was rough.
John Wick slowly pushes a knife into some guy's eye at one point, and that was the scene where I was like,
although that's one thing I can tell you that doesn't kill somebody.
No, it wouldn't kill him.
And that was the other thing too. Is like, how's he dead? He didn't put it in there that far.
Not all the way.
Like it would have gone to the back of the eye socket. Now, if he went thunk, I'd be like, oh, well, he's dead.
Now you're dead.
But I think I was like everyone. They were like, okay, I think we've made everybody squirm enough. Yeah. We're gonna cut away from this now.
That's an element of the fight scenes that I really appreciate. Something they include in a lot of the fights that they did more in the second movie than they did in the first, but they do it a lot in this movie. And that's, you see two people struggling with a knife and they're like got it pointed towards somebody. And in a lot of action movies, it's simply who's stronger. You know, you have to brute strength to stab the knife. But with John, he does a very smart thing, which is he just punches it in.
Oh yeah,
punches it into people.
Actually, you know what that reminded me of? That like a lot of the way he fought, because there's actually a lot more hand-to-hand fighting in this one than there was in the last one. The last one had a ton of gun fu and a little bit of hand-to-hand fighting. This had tons of hand-to-hand fighting. This reminded me of the Bourne movies. Remember when he he's fighting the dude with the phone book? Like this was like especially in the library when he. By the way, I'm not going to ruin that scene, but holy crap, man, he does some shit with a book.
Yes.
But yeah, it was like yes, but yeah. So 2 thumbs up for me.
Thumbs up for me too.
Well, you can't. There we go.
Dracula in the back seats giving a thumbs up.
One on each side, but the other one's holding the light.
Anyway, all right, guys. So that's our review of John Wick. This thing went on way longer than I thought it was because we're just fangirling over this shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, go see it. I thought it was awesome.
Yep.
And if you like this content, you want to see more of it, hit like, hit subscribe, and we will see you tomorrow on our live stream. But thanks for being here.
You'll see them. I won't be there, but
you won't see us actually.
You'll hear them.
All right, guys. Thanks a lot. Let me turn this off.